Hey, what's up, guys? It's Bakes here for day 28 of my 31 Days of Horror. And I'm not gonna lie, today's one I watched because I was just simply running out of time. And if you've been watching my channel for a long time, you guys know what I like to watch when I need to review something and I need to get it done quickly. I go to my Masters of Horror sets, so I went to season 2 and picked out the episode directed by Tobe Hopper titled The Damn Thing. That's it there on the back, The Damned Thing. From 2006, as I said, directed by Tobe Hopper, who is most well known for doing Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Poltergeist, Eaten Alive, plenty of horror films. But before I get into my thoughts of this episode, let's quickly get into the plot for it. So this episode opens in the 80s, I think it's like 1981 to be exact, but don't quote me. And it's a family of three, mum, dad, son. The son grows up to be our lead in this episode, but they're all hanging around having dinner, and the dad just goes crazy. He pulls out a gun, shoots his wife, the mum, and he's looking for the son and whatever. They run outside during this storm. The dad's looking for the kid, and this invisible force pulls the dad apart, like literally rips him apart. And the gore in that scene is actually really fucking cool. It's a shame that, as I said, it was during a thunderstorm because the lightning flashes were going to give me a fucking epileptic fit. It was crazy, but the gore was really good. And then the rest of the episode takes place like 20 something years later. As I said, that little boy's now grown up, and this epidemic is going around town again, where it's just turning people fucking insane. It's something that we've seen plenty of times before in horror movies and horror shows and everything like that, so pretty simple to follow along with. And let's get into my thoughts of The Damned Thing, directed by Tobe Hopper from 2006. Now, this is actually only one of the Masters of Horror episodes that I've only seen one time. This was only a second time watch for myself, and it's one that isn't really that amazing, if I'm being quite honest. It's not terrible, but it's definitely below par for the standard of Masters of Horror as a complete series. It's just kind of boring, and there's actually a lot that you can do with this kind of concept, and it's a concept, as I said in my introduction, that we've seen plenty of times before. It's not foreign in the horror genre. You know, we've got the crazies and something more recent like the sadness, where there's something going around that's just turning people crazy and violent and everything. So it's something that we've seen before and done really well. But as I said, I feel like it's mostly wasted. It never really gets too interesting, and the result just ends with this episode being really dull. Besides some moments of some really solid gore, if I'm actually being honest. But the storylines just don't really go anywhere and don't really develop into much. I guess I'll quickly go back to that highlight, the gore. The gore in this one is actually really solid. As I said in my plot description, that first attack by the invisible force, that caught me off guard. I'm like, whoa, the gore is really fucking cool. As I said, it was kind of overshadowed by the fact that it takes place in a thunderstorm, and the flashes, I swear to God, I was like shielding my eyes. It was fucking hurting me. But then there's also this other one. I'm not going to try and spoil it because it's sort of like a wall moment. If you've seen this episode, the road split scene, I thought that was like really cool gore as well. But overall, just the story and everything else doesn't really impact on the way I feel like it could. So like I said before, there's actually not a lot interesting going on with this episode, so we're going to jump straight to the ending. And again, while you're having a fit due to the lightning storm going on in this episode, I swear to God, your retinas are fucking burning because there's so many flashes going over and over. It's doing something to your head. You're also going to be thinking, what the fuck, because the reveal of what is going on and why these people are acting the way they are is very fucking weird. It's very what the fuck. When it happens, I'm not completely sure if it even makes sense. I was trying to stay along with the storyline and what was happening, but as I said, it's hard to stay invested when I don't think the story is really well executed or even really well written. A lot of people have said that this is one of the weakest Masters of Horror episodes, and I don't think it's as bad as what a lot of people make it out to be, but at the same time, it really isn't great. So I'm just going to jump straight to the rating. I'm going to give this one a 4 out of 10. I probably made it sound worse than it is. As I said, it's a real hard one because people think it's like absolute dog shit. I don't think it's on the level of dog shit, but it really isn't great either. This is a weird one. Like, Tobe Hopper as a director, he actually is very split with his catalogue. Like, he's done great films. TCM, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, is an undeniable hit. Poltergeist, I mean, it's arguable if it's even directed by him. A lot of people say Spielberg had a bigger hand in it than, what he's actually led on. I'm not going to get into that, but man, I don't know what the fuck he was doing with this episode. And he also did another terrible episode in the series, being Dance of the Dead, so I don't know what he was doing with these Masters of Horror episodes, but either way, this is going to be a shorter review because, as I said, already giving it a 4 out of 10. Normally when I review the Masters of Horrors, my reviews are short just because, if you're unfamiliar, these episodes go for just short of an hour usually. I've always seen them as short films rather than a series, but either way, The Damned Thing, it's probably not the best episode to start off if you haven't seen this show before, but 4 out of 10 for me. As I said, I was just sort of running out of time today, so I wanted to put on something quick. As I said, short run times, and I like going back and visiting this series anyway, but I went with one that I knew I didn't love. I just wanted to see, if things had changed over time, and not really. But if you've seen this episode and think differently, let me know your thoughts in the comments below, guys. And what did I say? We got a few more days to go. This was day number 28, so thank you for joining me for another episode of my 31 Days of Horror, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow.